welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green. Maybe there's some new viewers here today. I met a lot of people at the M3 Rock Festival, and a lot of people, well, I met a lot of you who've watched the show, and I'm happy to welcome you back. But I met a lot of people who are here for the first time, going to tune in, want to chat about the big weekend, the big festival, and a lot of other things that are going on in rock and music news. The beginning part of this show is mostly going to be about me talking about my experiences traveling with Stephen Pearcy's band this weekend. And then we'll get into questions and comments and what you think about some of the things that you saw at M3 or saw anywhere in general. And we'll chat. The best way to stop the chat and interrupt with your important thoughts is to super chat. That will immediately stop the chat. But anyway, we got a lot to do today, so we can't screw around too much. We're going to talk about M3 and more right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody got to waste time with you. Nobody I'd rather waste time with than you. I'm having a hard time wasting time with this angle today. That one should do. Anyway, let's see. Where do we start? Well, first, before we start, let's see if there's anyone who decided that they needed to instantly stop the chat. Oh, well, what do you know? There's Sean Brown. Sean Brown, thank you so much. Always generous. And he says, hello, Jason. Today would have been Orson Welles' 109th birthday. The AFI recently listed Welles as one of the top 20 actors of all time. I'm interested in your thoughts about this. And is there a movie you like him in more than Citizen Kane? Wow, what a strange question. A good question, but a strange question. I expected to talk about the controversy about alleged lip syncing at the M3 Music Festival. And here I'm talking about Orson Welles. Orson Welles was in a movie called The Black Hole. It was a Disney movie. I remember that. Loved it as a kid. Citizen Kane is very long, and if there's a role I liked him in more, it would also be Manowar. His voice appears on Defender, I think, and maybe 2 Manowar songs. That is what I remember best about the late great Orson Welles, and that would be my eulogy and tribute on his 109th birthday. There's probably 3 people in this chat who know who Orson Welles is, but I thank you so much for the generous super chat. I put this hair tie on my arm as if it's a decorative piece. I should probably take that off. So, okay, look, I'm going to get to your comments and your questions and your quotes, but I've definitely got to get started. I've got things I got to say. So I went to Virginia with Stephen Pearcy. 2 nights in Virginia. The first night we flew into Richmond, Virginia. We had a night, we got to relax a little bit. And then the next day we played at a place called the Beacon. When I grew up in New York City, the only Beacon theater I knew was on 74th Street and Broadway. But they do have a Beacon in Virginia, Hopewell, Virginia, to be exact. We were fortunate to have 3 shows in a row, 2 building up to the M3 festival. So upon arriving, we were checking into the hotel, and we ran into the newest member of Afterparty, again, newest guitar player. His name is Kieran. And Kieran left the Jeff Tate band to join Faster Pussycat. It's strange because very different types of music, but Kieran was a very nice young man. I've seen him play with him before. I think he fits very well. He's got some energy, and he's got a cool look. Forgot where he's from, but he's got a cool accent. Maybe he's Scottish. Someone in the chat knows the answer to this. But anyway, he informed us that Danny Nord. All right, I don't know what happened, but if you stayed with me, thank you. This is that was ponderous, absolutely ponderous. I mean, I just, it's ridiculous. I really was ready to have a good conversation. I was in a pleasant mood, and that's all been ruined now. This technology is insane. It's the same AI that produces shitty Motley Crue songs, and now it's coming for me. I don't know what to say. If you're still watching, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Look, and I hope it doesn't happen again. Jay Lee Smith, thank you for the super sticker. I'm going to put that towards all new technology that obviously I need. Let's see how long we can go. Where did we leave off? Well, I was telling you about how I ran into Kieran from Faster Pussycat. He's the new guitar player, and he informed us that Danny Nordahl, some of you call Slim Tender, fell and broke his arm. And I thought he fell down a flight of stairs, but apparently he fell off the tour bus, a door, the steps. He was coming out and he fell. He fractured his shoulder, I believe, and broke his thumb. He was in bad shape, and that they were sending Johnny Martin from the current LA Guns to fill in for him. I didn't think that Johnny Martin liked me uh, very much. I don't know why. I'm one of the most likable people on earth, but anyway, but we went to a thing called Wawa. For those of you on the East Coast, you know Wawa is like a convenience store. It's 24 hours and they cook stuff. It's like a gas station, but they do have a nice selection. Well, Johnny Monaco and I went in there for a late night snack. I'm the only one who snacked. Johnny's working on his physique. And when we came out, we ran into Johnny Martin. And he had just gotten in from LAX and was about to get on the back of the Faster Pussycat tour bus where he was going to learn the songs. He was very nice. And over the course of the next 2 days, him and I got to talk and sort of straighten out any possible differences. We had a good talk. So he got on their bus. It's different levels of touring for all bands. Faster Pussycat likes to tour by tour bus and also budget wise. So what Stephen Pearcy does is just strictly fly dates. We fly in, stay at a hotel, fly to another show, drive to another show, fly home, the end. So those guys were living on the bus. And apparently, I think they get one room as a day room. Guys can go in and shower, use a proper bathroom, things like that. I believe Danny stayed in the room to be comfortable since he was in so much pain. I've known Danny for a long time. Sometimes he remembers me, sometimes he doesn't. He seemed to remember me this trip. At first, I thought, here we go again. This is the guy who fell through the drums. I worry about his health and if that band is enabling him by, Tammy is clean and sober. And then you have Danny falling down. I'm worried about him. But so we'll see what happens. He was in good spirits. I've invited Danny to come on the show and talk a little bit about his music and the Throbs. Ronnie Sweetheart's been on before and is going to be coming back. So anyway, that occurred, and for us, that was the Beacon was an easy show. There was a couple opening acts, support acts. One was Gavin Evick. He's the son of Pete Evick or Evick. Pete Evick, who was the guitar player for Bret Michaels, and he played, and then Faster Pussycat played. I will tell you that Faster Pussycat was very good. It's the second time I've seen them in a long time. I saw them at the Rainbow, and I saw them here, and very good. Tammy looks good, sounds good, and I've met Sam Bam Colton, who was the guitar player, who I also thought did not like me. He explained to me that he's very awkward and that he's sometimes shy meeting people or talking to people. And then it made me feel better because every time I see the guy, I feel like he hates me, and which would be okay, but I don't think I ever did anything to him. Anyway, so we had a nice conversation as well. And he's also been invited to come on and talk about his career. He's an interesting young man. And then, of course, Chad Stewart, the drummer, I've known for a long time. We'll talk more about Faster Pussycat, and they're being accused of using tracks, which is ridiculous, but we'll get to that. Just want to make sure I can see these comments. Hold on. Okay, we got so many comments. I'm going to try to get to everything. I'm going to try my absolute best. But I'm already phased by that nonsense that happened. All right, so let's See that, so that was that night. Stephen Pearcy played. It was a great show. And it was a really fun energy. The guys from Faster Pussycat were on the side of the stage watching and really having fun. Pete Evick was there and his kid another member of Brett Michaels' band. I believe he's the bass player was there. And everyone was having a really good time. It was really a good vibe in the air. Everyone put on a good show. Stephen played Out of the Cellar and a few extra hits. And everyone's excited to see Blas Elias. He is the talk of the town these days, and so he performed obviously, and he traveled from Las Vegas with Johnny and myself, and he's a great guy. I've known him for I don't know 14, 15 years. Worked with him on and off in different projects, and he is one of the better people you can know. Sometimes you see people like Blas, and you wonder how could someone actually be this nice and talented, especially after having such a career in the music business. He doesn't show signs of being jaded at all. Anyway, next day we rented a vehicle and we drove two vehicles and we drove 2 hours to Norfolk area and we stayed near Virginia Beach and played a show there at a place called Elevation 27. And that was fine. It's a little bit of a long sound check, a few things. I think they're not used to having national acts there. They'll probably get better in time. Sounded great. It sounded great. Those two shows, both the first two Virginia shows sounded great. Band was really, as the kids say, firing on all cylinders. I don't remember who opened. It was a local thing. After sound check, Blas and I decided to go visit a haunted house. There's a year-round haunted house right off the beach. It's called Nightmare Mansion. Blas is a fun guy. I didn't know if he was going to partake in these tour diaries. I thought that maybe, he doesn't want to be seen all the time. The guy looks so damn good. He looks good in the morning. He looks good. He always looks like the guy who walked out of the Up All Night video. So anyway, you'll see him in upcoming tour diaries because he was fine. And so we went to the Nightmare Mansion. It was scary. Blas and I are both sort of thrill seekers. He's a little more thrill seeker than I. Blas is kind of like Clark Griswold. He has a teenage son and a teenage daughter. He's a wife, and they like to go and take trips together and go to all kinds of places. So he likes to go to Universal Studios haunted horror nights, whatever it's called. I like to go to it too. I go quite often. So we're both used to themed haunted houses. This one does not have a licensed theme. They just try to scare you. You'll see on the episode, we couldn't film inside, but we show reviews. But it was a little creepy. I thought Blas was a big tough guy, and I'm going to look like a wimp. So I let Blas go first. But it turns out the scary things were happening behind me. We were being chased by either a little person or a child or a contortionist. And it was scary. And it's not like a haunted house where you go through with thousands of people in different groups. Me and Blas go into this building, and it's just the two of us and the monsters. Pitch black, can't see. We got lost. We didn't know which doors to open. But it was good. And then we went and looked at the ocean, which was the beach was very choppy and bad weather. But anyway, so that's, I'm talking fast because there's so many things to talk about. And I want to get you guys into this conversation. This is really your show. So, okay, let's go back and maybe I can answer a few of your questions before I get to M3 or before the chat goes out again. Okay, we're going to thank Sean Brown again. If you just joined, thank you, Sean, for being so generous. I told you that Manowar was my favorite Orson Welles project. California Dreaming's letting us know that you guys can handle the show until I came back, and you did, and it's very much appreciated. I apologize. Okay. All right, I'm trying to get through this. You guys are amusing yourselves with jokes. Bill has an FMK. We'll have to hold off on that for right now. I'll do it, but I'll do it. But I gotta get through some other things. Michelle is here. She is also helping to handle the chat and to make sure that we don't have any spamming or stupid stuff or nonsense. You get what I mean. Okay. I invited Johnny Monaco to be here. He's very busy, but he said he may pop in. Steve Rochelle is here. Thank you, Stevie, for being here. A lot of news going on today on the Metal Sludge website. The guys in Riley's LA Guns, a band that I'm very close to, Golden Robot Records. I don't really know what to say about Golden Robot Records, but they're supposed to put out a Riley's LA Guns record. People pre-ordered CDs and albums, and they're not responding. Kelly Nichols is trying to get to the bottom of it. I spoke to Kelly today. This is a big problem. Is this company ripping people off? They were a sponsor of this show. I'll be straight. They were hard to get paid by. That's not. I don't mean to be rude, but I had to kind of fight to get paid. It was a paid sponsorship. They wanted to do a contest with us to get a record deal. I wasn't comfortable with the contest towards the end, and I also thought that the bands that were submitted weren't great quality. My judges didn't think so either, and the contest never happened. At this point, I'm glad. I hope Golden Robot Records reaches out to these people, reaches out to their bands, and fixes this problem. They're in Australia. They owe everybody an explanation and some money or some product. So, but you can watch, you can read Metal Sludge, and you'll see the headline, Rip Off and Tear, and about what's going on. Also, we want to wish a speedy recovery, not only to Danny Nordahl, a faster Pussycat, but to Kerry Kelly of Night Ranger, who fell on stage. And he runs around like a jumping bean, and he ran and he broke his ankle. And you can read about that on Metal Sludge as well. Okay. Will Wednesday 13 be here? No, it's not Wednesday. So if you don't like that, go somewhere else. Okay. This is Donald Tickle. Donald Tickle, I think you might be a new member because I feel like I don't remember that name, but it was great to meet me in Virginia Beach, and thanks for offering the pick. Well, thanks for offering and giving me a pick. Well, you're very welcome. I was happy to do that. Okay, and so all right. And Sam Bam Colton, that's spelled wrong. Great kid, yes, a very nice guy. I call anyone younger than me a kid as well, but he's not that. I mean, he can drive, I think. He can drink, I think. I don't know if he does. A jester says he's known. I know I'm Sam since he was 15. Watched him a great rock star. It's a great kid. Actually ran into his mom and dad at the Zebra and Donnie Chicago. So nice. Yeah, a lot of people. Well, you guys go tell Sam you want to see him on, and we'll have him on. Michelle would like to talk more about Bloss. Jennifer Lee, not Jennifer Jason Lee. She also said Bloss was amazing Saturday. I tend to agree. Okay. Stupid comment. Matt's red strings look awesome, and Bloss is insane. Yes, I agree. They're insane as a musician. Bloss tells the best stories. He's had a long, interesting life. Bloss was always really cool to me when I got to talk. He's one of the nicest people you can meet. Steve Rochelle pointing out that Bloss is not aged either. He looks great. Clean living doesn't mold. Bloss has never taken a drink. He's never done a drug, and he does prove that clean living pays off. He was a triathlete, meaning he can run a marathon and then swim and then do a bicycle race. He eats more than anyone you've ever seen. He can eat all day and all night, and he works out and he looks great. That is the biggest compliment anyone can say. It's just, people say constantly how great he looks. Sometimes people say how great he looks, they forget just how great his playing is too. And I think we're showing a lot of people that. With the Stephen Pearcy band, I want to say though, you shouldn't take advantage of people's kindness. We were at the airport coming home in Baltimore. Occasionally fans will find out the flights of the bands or take a guess. There's not that many flights. And they'll wait for autographs. And I think if you're a fan, why not? I'm not going to lie. I've waited at airports to meet some of my favorite people too. And that's fine. It's part of the thing. I'm also very happy to meet people. I don't consider myself famous, but if someone wants to take a picture or sign, well, why not? Well, on the way home, someone was waiting for Bloss at the airport. And they actually went through the gate, so they're not actually committed fraud against the American TSA and government, and asked Bloss to sign a few things. When I looked down, I saw he had these cassettes taped to a board. When someone brings those boards with all their items on it, it usually means they're going to resell the item on eBay. An actual fan isn't usually so organized. He asked if Bloss would sit down. He talked he's probably watching, he's a fan of the show, but he was talking nonstop. And what they do is they talk nonstop, hoping you'll keep signing and you'll forget that you're now giving this person money. Because at some point, there was 50 plus items. If you have 50 plus things at an airport to get signed, including multiples of the same item, you're no longer a fan, you're a reseller. Or you're a fan who resells. All these things were signed by Mark and Dana over different times. Dana's not going to sit down and sign 50 things. And look, I give the guy credit, but maybe offer Bloss a couple bucks. Not to say that he needs it or he would take it, but it's extremely taking advantage, showing up at the airport and asking someone to sign 50 things. Stephen wouldn't do that. You took advantage of Bloss's kindness. So I'm telling people, with peace and love, maybe don't show up at an airport with 50 things, because this one guy ruined it for everybody. Don't do it. If you have Slaughter records, when you want to have Bloss sign your favorites, he's extremely accessible and extremely nice. But don't take advantage when you're selling it, you know what I mean? And be so obvious. So luckily for you, I documented the entire 9 minutes of this, and it will be in the next tour diary. But don't take advantage of people's kindness. Okay. Everyone in Stephen Pearcy looked and sounded great. Agreed. Nightmare Mansion has been in Virginia Beach forever. Yes, I think it's since 1989 or something like that. Okay, I'm going through here. I'm going to catch up, and then we're going to get into M3, all of us together. There's a lot of new people there. I feel so bad for the technical difficulties. Why is Bloss not in Slaughter? $1 million question. We're going to play shows with Slaughter. It's going to be weird. Slaughter's going to go on. And Bloss is going to headline. Bloss is going to be on the show, and we'll let Bloss answer it. It's really up to him. I did talk to Dana before adding Bloss to the lineup. He was aware of it. And I don't know. They couldn't work their things out. I will say one thing, that Dana was worried that, that sometimes you play gigs that take a lot of work and aren't the best places, that maybe Bloss wouldn't like it and that he would lose the drummer that they have, who's very good. I don't know. They try to make it work. It's up to Bloss to explain. Or Dana. Dana could get his ass on here and explain it. He won't, but he could. So that's sort of the deal on what I can say on Slaughter. I've told Dana since day one, Bloss should be there. Now, we do know that at Christmas time, Bloss is in a show called the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. They're not trans, to my knowledge, at least not all of them. But they play. And for 6 weeks of the year, Bloss will be doing that, playing big arenas. And we knew that when we hired him. And the idea would be that somebody will sub for him if there's shows at that time. We don't usually play a ton around Christmas. But Bloss is in. I mean, he's here. Hopefully you'll see Bloss next year on the Monster Rock Cruise and everything else. But they were worried that maybe if, let's say, Slaughter had a ton of gigs, they lose their drummer, Bloss isn't available. I don't know. I think I've said more than I should. Tim Sheridan, super sticker. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. I appreciate it. It makes me feel better for how bad Vince Neil also fell. I'm not going to wish him a speedy recovery this time. Yeah, Monday 15. Sam doesn't drink or drive. Well, Sam is a lot like me, except younger. Stevie's promoting on the Metal Sludge. Well, that's nice of him. I appreciate it. And we're going to get into some really heavy M3 talk. We're going to really get into some stuff. And I think that's what people who enjoy the Metal Sludge site want to talk about. And 30 Rude, I think, talking about the people. Yeah, it's ridiculous. He's not a fan. 50 items. Yeah, it was insane. Jeff says, Bloss was great. My wife couldn't stop talking about him. I get you. Yeah, it happens. Now you're going to be in bed making love to your wife, and she's going to call out Bloss's name, and you're going to blame us. Always get to autographs personalized. Yeah. I'm not against autographs. I collect memorabilia. In fact, at the M3 Music Festival, I got Vivian Campbell to sign my Funko Pop. One thing, this is it. Andrew Freeman of Last in Line, who's a friend of mine, introduced me, and I got to sign for my collection, which I have a lot of. And it's in my collection until I die, and then Michelle will figure out where to sell it. But there's a way to be a fan, and there's a way to be ungrateful and take advantage of someone's time. Okay. Lorraine went to all 3 shows and had a great time. Okay, I think I got through most of the questions, and now we can talk about the M3 Music Festival. So it's in Columbia, Maryland. We got up early in the morning and we left from the Norfolk Airport, and we headed out to Baltimore, Maryland. It was very early, and we were all very tired. But we're kind of excited to get to M3. M3 is always a fun place to be, and it's a great place to catch up with friends. So the weather was expected to be cold and rainy, and yes, it was. But I feel like every time I've gone to M3, it's been cold and rainy. This was my 3rd trip. First time I was with Winger, second time with Stephen. This is the 3rd time with Stephen. No Kicks anymore. Kicks usually headline the opening night of the M3 festival. Any comments on Andrew's comments? And I will talk about Andrew. Got some controversy, and I'll talk about that when we get to Last in Line. You can remind me in a bit. So I'm trying to stay focused because it's not usually this much to say at one time. Anyway, we got to the hotel, and we were there early, and it took a minute to check in. But we were situated. Bloss and I wanted to get there early and watch a few of the bands. The other guys wanted to get some rest or shower, get ready. So I told Bloss, well, I'll go with you, but how long do you need to get ready? And I figured a good-looking guy like Bloss is going to say, I need, 2 hours. And if he said something like 10 minutes, boy, I would have been pissed off. So, but he said 30 minutes. He'd be ready in 30 minutes. None of us had showered, shaved, washed up, life on the go. So the M3 was very organized. I want to say that the people at M3 this year, it was incredibly organized. Ran very smoothly. The people in charge of ground transportation were great. The organizers were great. Eric Baker does a great job. The agents, Sullivan Big, who booked Stephen Pearcy, everyone was just great and hands-on. And I really want to say that because a lot of times I say things when things are bad, but and not enough credit for when things are good and organized. Okay, so when Bloss and I got there, it was right before Doro Pesh was taking the stage. I've seen Doro a lot, and I'm buddies with her drummer, Johnny D, who was not there. Johnny D is off playing with Taiketo. It seems strange that you would do a Taiketo gig over playing M3 with Doro, but what do I know? Maybe he was locked in. So they had a substitute drummer. I didn't catch his name. But Chris Caffery. I think it's not, I don't think he's Cafferty. I think he's Caffery. Chris Caffery of Savatage fame. And he's in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, not trans either, with Bloss. But I believe that Chris does the East Coast one, Bloss does the West Coast one. But they do know each other. And so Bloss wanted to support and watch. It was also his first time seeing Doro. They say Doro is right around 60. I think she might have been older. She looks great. She never changes. She's the queen of rock. As she said on this show in my interviews, she was married. She is married to the music. That Chris, this is spelled wrong too, Chris. Sorry, I just got to say, LA glam rocker. Jason Green could have been a rock star, but his name held him back. Why pick this name? LA Glam Rocker is a metal sludge person, to my knowledge, and usually posts incredibly stupid stuff. And without fail, is here saying stupid stuff. Not incredible. There's nothing incredible about a post like that. Anyway, back to my original thoughts. So we caught a little bit. So what they do is the stage at M3 is a round, lazy Susan. I know lazy is not politically correct. Maybe they should just call it tired Susan or not motivated Susan. There's a curtain in the middle so that when one band is playing, the other band is setting up, and when it's time, they turn that stage around. Thank you very much. When they turn the stage around, next band plays, the band's setting up. It's a good way to keep things moving. Everything was on time. Nobody fell behind, at least not when I was there. But a lot of people like to watch on the sides. You get a shitty view and a shitty mix when you watch on the side. And boss said, "Is there anywhere else to watch?" I said, "Well, you could go down in the crowd to the side and watch." I said, "People will recognize you and probably want to take some pictures." I am not nearly as recognizable or handsome as Bloss, but it happens to me, and I appreciate it. There's nothing nicer than when people approach me and tell me that they like this show, that the show got them through hard times. Can't tell you how many people told me they were laid up from surgery or whatever. Kelly and Danny Nordell could watch my show while they're recovering, but or tell me that I got them through the day at work, or that they had a good laugh, or that they liked one of the people who appear on the show, Johnny Monaco, Matt Thorne, Wednesday 13. That anyway, that's a great compliment. But when you see a lot of people don't want to go in the crowd, they cannot handle the fame of being recognized. So I said to Bloss, "What do you want to do?" He goes, "Well, I could care less." Bloss went right out in the crowd. People were polite, came over and took a picture, said hello. They were excited to see him. Bloss doesn't make it to the East Coast very often, or hadn't. You might be seeing a lot more of them. And it was great. And it was no big deal. They were excited. They were happy. I will say it was mostly women, uh, um, and mostly guys coming over to talk to me, um, which is fine. I'm actually sort of joking. But anyway, we watched some Doro. We went backstage. Bloss was a little worried about this. This is a big festival for him to play. And funny enough, Bloss actually grew up in Columbia, Maryland. He's from Texas, but from preschool to maybe third grade, he went to school right behind the Merriweather Pavilion. It's so strange. And also, he had not done one of these festivals. Christopher makes a good point. I'm a straight man, but Bloss is beautiful. I have to agree. I'm a straight man, I think, but what a handsome fella. I mean, I don't think I want to like 69 with Bloss, but I do see that he is an incredibly handsome guy, and you know what? His personality makes him that much more beautiful, to use your word, Christopher, because he is a good guy and he's a loyal guy and a loyal friend. I've known him for a while. Okay, so we hired a tech for the night, which is young Sam. Young Sam's been on the shows before. Sam Wall. He does his own YouTube thing. He's a nice young man, and he came to help Bloss. We wanted to make this good. We wanted to look good and sound good. So they were working on drums. What happens when you go to the festival is the audience just sees the stage, but on the other side of the stage are 5 to 7 drum risers, and every drummer is there working on their stuff. And it's really kind of strange. And I'm fortunate to know so many people now that everywhere you go, you're just bumping into someone else you know. And a lot of them are famous or have been on this show as well. So I ran into Steve Brown. George Lynch jokingly called him Mild Steve Brown. He was filling in with Lynch Mob, which to me is the coolest. Mick Brown's younger brother playing with George Lynch. Very cool. But so while we're there on the other side of the stage, George Lynch is just warming up and noodling. And when the stage spun, then Vivian Campbell's doing the same. It's a cool backstage experience, and I'll show a lot of it in the tour diaries. Okay, well, hold on. This is breaking news. I have to interrupt. Update: Golden Robot Records has replied to my Facebook post about Riley's LA Guns issue. So we're getting somewhere. Before I was interrupted with these technical difficulties, we were saying that Golden Robot Records owes the world some product. And Stevie Rochelle apparently is going to break that story. I don't think he's going to break it here. I think he wants you to go to Metal Sludge. But anyway, so you're back there. You see all these great drummers, and Vinny Appice, one of the best drummers in the world, and a great guy. And I'm always happy to see him. I really like Vinny. And okay, hold on. Stevie's going to announce it right here. Um, Great news to all Riley's LA Guns fans. Digital is available now on all streaming services, and CD special edition vinyl will be available to ship August 16th. So it's late, but better late than never. Apologies for the delay. Didn't want to announce it until the date was firm. Thank you. So that is a good start. And Stevie, well, thank you, because I don't think if you went public with it, maybe we wouldn't have got an answer. So, okay. So for those of you who ordered your product, will be there. Okay, so I'm backstage talking to all these really cool people, and everybody knows Blas, and everybody loves Blas. And boy, people are so happy to see him. So the lineup for the day was a band called Child's Play, which I met one of the members, Phil. He's working on this kind of cool AI. There's that word again, technology, and he. I missed him playing, but I got to see him. Van Halen, which is a Van Halen cover band. I missed it, but we saw Doro first, and then after Doro was Lynch Mob, and I always love to see George. And then after Lynch Mob was Quiet Riot. There was a bit of a argument or controversy about the placement of the bands. I think there always is, but a lot of people thought that Last in Line should go on before Quiet Riot. I'm not necessarily offering an opinion. If I had to go by brand, the Quiet Riot brand is bigger than Last in Line. Last in Line is a Dio. You know, it's featuring two of the members of Dio, and they play Dio music as well as a lot of original music. And I know that Vivian Campbell is a big star, and people like to see him. What a great night to see George Lynch and Vivian Campbell on the same stage. And so a lot of people agreeing. So there was a little controversy. Quiet Riot featuring Jizzy Pearl. It's funny, Blas Elias and Jizzy Pearl were both in my band, Sin City Sinners, that I put together. And so it was really a reunion of so many people that I knew and had worked with. Phil Soussan, I should also mention, one of the first bands I ever worked with, a band called Beggars and Thieves. I worked with Phil Soussan. I was a teenager. And so he's in that band as well. So I don't know. Quiet Riot was good. And I think Quiet Riot wins fans over every day. I really do. Of course, I think it's strange that Carlos isn't there, but that's their business. They keep going out and playing, and people like it. Every time they play, someone comes out to me and goes, you know what? I really liked Quiet Riot and really enjoyed Jizzy's job, and I think they can keep it going. They honor the brand. They played Blackout in a Red Room for Jizzy. They play Little Typo Negative for Johnny Kelly, who also a friend of mine who played drums on my record, Sincere Rejects, which I'll make an announcement about. I got some music coming out soon too. I'm going to have a CD, not available on Golden Robot Records. So anyway, I wanted to mention those guys in Quiet Riot. Alex Grassi playing guitar as well. I shouldn't forget him. And Rudy Sarzo. How can you? It's funny to watch like George Lynch chatting with Rudy Sarzo, like all these legends of the '80s just kind of hanging out together. It's very cool. So Quiet Riot did good, and I think the fans liked it. As I said, after Quiet Riot was Last in Line. Andrew Freeman allegedly made some comments that were very controversial. I only got a part of it. I didn't hear him say it. I read some of the quotes, but I believe he yelled at the people to stand up. I think he maybe insinuated the audience was being lazy. I'm not positive if someone in the comments has the video, but I know that, and I want to welcome the people from the M3 Rockers Facebook group who are watching, because this is where I've heard a lot of this. So I don't know what to say about that. Here's Jeff Peterson says, do you think you could be a better interviewer than Stern? You have some similarities in the way he could keep the conversation going before he jumped the shark. Whether or not he jumped the shark is sort of a matter of opinion. It depends what you mean. I mean, listen, He's definitely a more PC Howard Stern than he was, but he's also an older man. Did you really want to see him play anal ring toss and what bongo at 70, or whatever age he is? Um, I don't know about best, but I take pride in the interviews I do. I take pride that people enjoy them. I do feel like I can keep a conversation going. I think people like my interviews because they believe that I'm honest and real. I ask the questions that maybe you would want to ask, and I do the best to keep it real, as they say. Um, and so, as Michelle says, allow the guests to talk. Howard Stern definitely steps over people and, yeah, interrupts. I definitely think he does that. I did like listening to Howard Stern as a kid. I think some of my thing comes from him, but it's important to listen. I was an actor once too, and acting is all about listening. It's about reacting. If you're just thinking about what you're going to say, you're not going to be a good actor. If you're just waiting for your turn, no, you have to listen and then you react to what that person is saying. And so when I interview someone, I listen. And maybe the next question isn't what matters. Maybe it's a response to what they said. And I think people trust me that I'm not going to ambush them. One of the reasons they come on here, I'm not looking to do that. Anyway, I don't want to make this too much about me. At the end, maybe we can talk about how great I am. But for right now, I want to stick to the M3 Music Festival. But Jeff, thank you for the question and the comment. So I said Core Riot was good. I don't know exactly what someone said. If they want to find me a video or say about what Andrew did, Andrew is known to be a little fiery. He's had some things inside the industry. He can be a little bit of a hot tempered guy. I've never had a problem with him in my life, but other people have, and maybe it was their fault. Maybe Andrew's just honest. He's an East Coast guy. He's a Jersey guy. He's a Yankees fan. Well, we have that in common. So I don't know. I can't say too much uh, about what he said until I know it, until I see it. But I think he sort of yelled at the crowd. He gets intense. He wanted people to rock out. Who else thinks George Lynch should color his hair? Yeah, I think he should. He looks like the snow miser in the Christmas movies. I mean, he says at a certain age you look stupid not dyeing your hair. I've asked him. It's in my interview. He's coming back. He'll be back, and we'll ask him again. But he's older. I think he would look great if he added a little color to his hair. Okay, so that Danny, thank was at the Hopewell gig, and it was awesome. I'm glad you were there. So after Last in Line was the Stephen Pearcy band. M3 has a lot of events. They sell these packages. You meet, you greet. You can do this. You can do that. There's a lot, but Stephen doesn't like to do that many things before a show. That's why we always do them after. It was rainy and cold, and we had to turn down interviews. I don't think that artists should do too many interviews, even though I do a show that has interviews. You can, at some point, overexpose yourself when there's nothing new to say. Some of these YouTube shows have 10 viewers. What's the point? Open your window and talk. You reach more people. Everyone emailed me for an interview with Stephen. Everyone. But not like MTV News. Kurt Loder didn't write to me. Was it everyone? And I get it. You have to try. And I respect that. I have to do it too. I try. But everyone writes me the same damn email. Don't write this email. The email is, I've got this YouTube show and it's really kind of cool. And I've had guests on, and it's always the same people who come up on every publicist's list. And then it's always like Rudy Sarza, who's also an incredibly nice guy. And it gets, whatever, just get to the point. What do you want? What are your numbers? That's all anyone cares about. How many views do you have? How many subscribers do you have? And then I want to watch you, and I want to see if you're going to be uncomfortable. Are you going to ask when Rat's getting back together? Is that what you got? Is that your first and last question? So what we did is we made sure that Stephen came a little bit later than everyone else to the show. They had a very nice hospitality. The catering was excellent and organized. 2 years ago, the catering was a little bit of a mess. People were fighting, but no, it was nice and really good quality food. And the dressing rooms were nice. And I got to say, I wish I could tell you some drama, and maybe I'll think of some, but it was really a good experience. So Stephen went on, and we went back and forth on whether or not he should play Out of the Cellar or play the Greatest Hits set. He had been playing Out of the Cellar each night before, and my theory is that fans who go to the M3 festival are people who've seen Stephen before. They've seen him on the cruise, they've seen him in M3. These are real rock fans. It's not casual fans. When you're at the chili cook-off or the state fair, maybe you better play the Greatest Hits. But at the same time, Out of the Cellar might as well be a Greatest Hits record. You know what I mean? There's a lot of songs on there that people know. So the answer was play Out of the Cellar, followed by You're in Love and Lay It Down. And it was only a 60-minute set that was given. And so in 60 minutes, you've got to you got to do what you've got to do. I think he made the right choice. At the end of the day, I think that was the right choice to give fans something a little different, because the next band did something different that I don't think worked. One of the hard things about these festivals is I'm honest with what I say on my show. And sometimes I don't like all the bands, or I have feelings about them. I've been critical of, oh, hold on. Mick Jansen is here, and he stopped. Once you do this, you stop the show. Rock on Jason. He says, you reset humor is cracking up my wife. I'm not exactly sure what Mick is trying to say, but I appreciate that I'm cracking up your wife, Mick, and I'm hoping that my cracking up your wife is a bit of an aphrodisiac for you, and that your wife will, have a romantic night with you, if that's something that you would like. Maybe all this laughter is warming up a romance. But anyway, thank you for the chat. You guys are very kind. Actually, probably too kind. I probably don't deserve as much love as you guys give me, but I will take it. It's just a testament to how bad the other podcasters are that you're here. Anyway, Stephen said, I thought it was great. And let's see, I'm trying to, Nobody Rides for Free, underrated song. We usually include it almost every time. They didn't give us enough time. Way Cool Jr. is a great song. Well, I agree, but we didn't have enough time to do them all. What was supposed to be on the screen? Don't know what you mean. Love his banter too. Okay, I think we're talking about Stephen now. You think Warren would be missing it? Well, maybe he is. That's a question for another day. A lot of people enjoyed the movie Point Break, where that came from. Christopher Carroll enjoys my quips, and okay. Okay. I think that, I see a lot of people mad about Howard Stern. Sometimes you have to grow in life. The reason Howard Stern is the biggest radio broadcaster of all time is he, not only because he proclaimed it, he said it, and he's right. No one has made more money in radio, and no one has been more successful. No one has branched off as many things. Is it different now? Yeah, maybe it is. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I still like Howard Stern. Mick says we're supposed to say dry humor. Okay, good. Well, I hope that my dry humor moistens up your wife so that you guys can have a romantic interlude, if you like. I don't know what this means. There was nothing planned to play on the video screen. During Round and Round, they were trying out this AI technology that was going to make Stephen look younger. I don't think Stephen completely understood the concept, and I did not completely understand the concept. I think it was recorded. It wasn't meant to be shown on the screens. It was recorded for another day. And one day maybe you'll see it. Okay. Yeah, smash the likes. Why not? A record amount of people here, 400 people watching. And yes, that is a Michael Myers mask behind me. Thank you. Enjoy some green while watching Jason Green. I wish I could. I can only enjoy green before bed. Uh, sometimes I enjoy myself, and then I enjoy the something edible to chew on. But that helps me sleep. Please convince Stephen to play Gamers. There's so many songs. Ratt is so fortunate to have so many hits. You just can't get to them all. There is the rumor. I think I'm starting it right now. That maybe next year he'll play Invasion of Your Privacy from start to finish. So, but it's just a rumor. Let's see. I'm not really here to argue about Howard Stern, but would I say he's the king of media? Of course. If you don't like Howard Stern, it's because you have a political difference with him. Come on, let's be honest. And I don't really care what people think about politics. It's not for me to talk about. I'm here to talk about rock and roll. And okay, let's talk about Queensryche. Did Queensryche do the original songs or the warning? We are from the Seattle area. See them. Queensryche decided to play a set of songs that nobody knows. They did play songs from the warning. They did play Rage for Order. I don't know if they played the full records. What I was saying before we were so rudely interrupted is that I'm critical of Queensryche on this show. Jeff Tate and Chris DeGarmo wrote the songs. Jeff Tate is the Roger Waters to The Wall, as is Jeff Tate is to Operation Mindcrime. The singer is very, very good. His name is Todd LaTorre. He's very good. The band is very good. The drummer is good. I call him not Rockenfield, but Feld, whatever his name is. But he's nice, and they're nice, and they sounded incredible, but they were boring, as I promised they would be. And people left. After Stephen Pearcy, not most people, but a lot of people left. And you can argue with me if you like, but I was there. You watch my video when I go up into the seats. Bloss and I and Chris Caffery and a few others were up there watching. People were leaving. It was a rainy night, but they didn't play Another Rainy Night Without You. I don't think they even played Silent City. I hate that song, but it's Grammy winning or nominated. Their big closing song was Empire. That was the biggest hit that they played, to my knowledge. I couldn't even watch the whole thing. I'm not trying to be terribly mean, and they can come on here and tell me their side of it. After the show, Todd and Bloss were talking. Todd was a drummer as well. Imagine that, incredible singer. But they were talking. Everybody loved Bloss. And anyway, they said that they made the decision to stick to what they're touring for, which is those deeper songs. I know on the cruise one night, they played like 10 new songs and 2 hits. It didn't work. It didn't work. Maybe the diehard Queensryche fans liked it, but then you should go to a Queensryche concert to see it. But listen, I give them credit. Hey, they tried it. They stuck to their guns. Stephen Pearcy was the headliner, no question about it. And what I've known all along is that Stephen Pearcy should be headlining, and that the Ratt brand, which is Stephen Pearcy, there's no Ratt, he is Ratt. Then now you're seeing it. And I don't want to toot my own horn too much. Toot. But I wanted Matt Thorne in the band for quite some time. He'd been in the band already. Stephen is very close with him. I was messaging him. He had back surgery. I was trying my hardest to get him back. We got him back. I decided that they wanted a guitar player. Someone got sick. We needed a guitar player. I fought to get Johnny Monaco in. It's just like, oh, here he is. And now Johnny plays all the Warren DeMartini parts. That's not a slight on Eric Ferentinos, who's been with Stephen for 23 years. Eric is a talented guy, and he's a team player. And he plays more of the Robin parts now. It's fine and it's great, but Johnny's also an incredible singer. Everyone thought, well, who's going to sing these high parts? Well, Johnny Monaco can sing these high parts. And then when the opening for a drummer came, I think Stephen finally trusted me at this point, that I got a good career of recommending people to bands. Um, Maybe I recommended some pretty famous people, that some I can talk about, some I can't. I think I'm good at what I do. Anyway, toot a little more, but Stephen has to make the decision at the end of the day, and surround himself with people who can help to make those decisions. And so far, so good. This is the best the Stephen Pearcy solo band has ever sounded. I've seen the solo band for 20 something years. This is the best lineup. And if you have a chance to see it, get off your ass, as Andrew Freeman would tell you, and go see it. You will not be disappointed. It probably sounds better than Ratt sounds, some lineups. So I wanted to make that point. Georgia says that she likes the show and she learns a lot by watching it. I appreciate that. Stern rules. Well, of course he does. Dave Balls, I'm sorry I didn't see you. I think you were there, but good to see you. This is Stevie Rochelle. In the last 6 months or more, I have had several industry types, i.e. musicians, agents, promoters, say the same thing. Steven sounds the best he has in years. Stevie is someone who's not biased. If it was bad, he would tell you. One of the things that kept happening, and it's on the M3 Rockers page, is people accusing Stephen of lip syncing, which is insane. There's also people accusing Faster Pussycat of lip syncing. There couldn't be two bands more that I would never believe would do that. And the reason I say this, one, is I don't think either one of those bands could figure it out. If you told Stephen we're going to cheat, he wouldn't go for it. Or we're going to use track. He wouldn't go for it. I know it. He would laugh his ass off. It's not how he is. There are absolutely no tracks or pre-recordings in Stephen's set at all. And the same with Faster Pussycat. Tammy would never do that. And neither Tammy or Stephen ever sound perfect. They both have unique voices. Neither one of those guys is Pavarotti. But they bring what they bring. And you know what they do? They surround themselves with talented guys. Sam Bam, who I've been talking about for the first time on the show today, is singing some high parts. Todd Kearns, I've seen jam with Faster Pussycat, and he would sing the high parts. Well, Sam is singing some of these. It's a girl's part, and where there's a whip, there's a way. It's a girl's part that he sings. I promise you, Faster Pussycat is not using tracks. It's just not something they would do. That is the ultimate party band. Maybe Tammy's not drinking, but he's not using tracks either. And what's happening in the industry is people are calling attention to lip syncing, but you don't know what you're looking for necessarily. Eddie Trunk, everyone. I like Eddie Trunk. I talk to him still, but he says on his show, I've noticed he won't comment on people he likes. There's bands that he likes who are lip syncing, and he won't call them out. He's worried about his reputation or whatever he's worried about. I can name 5 bands that I could show him right now that are using tracks, and that he probably won't talk about it. You know, I mean, maybe there are chips enough off the old block. I don't know, but there's no tracks with Stephen Pearcy. I'm telling you, 100%. I'm on the stage. I'm behind the stage. I set everything up. Most of the time, I'm the only crew. Speaking of crew, if you want to see someone who's watching tracks, watch videos of them at their last show. Watch Vince Neil attempt to sing Toast of the Town. It's interesting how when he's not on the microphone, it's still playing. Is there any question that that band is fake? Or worry about them. Anyway, I wanted to clear that up because I saw a lot of people commenting. And I'm not saying this to be a jerk. I'm saying it to tell you that don't say those things. Did Johnny sing a tribute of Queensryche? If you want to see Johnny Monaco sing Queen of the Reich, it is on it's on YouTube, and it's incredible. He's a talented guy. Your show is the best mix of Howard Stern and Eddie Trunk. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Lisa. And to me, that's a compliment, a great compliment. Okay. Let me see. Johnny has an amazing voice. I agree. I love a rainy night. I don't really like actual rainy nights, but I do like the song. He's only here for attention. There might be someone in the crowd that needs to be. blocked. I think Michelle can handle that. I want to make sure I read everyone. Robert says he loves the Infestation record. I think it's terrible. I think it's one of the worst records I've ever heard. And Stephen doesn't like it either. He rated it very low. Watch my interviews where he rates them. There's a song called Wild Weekend or some shit last week. And the beginning goes, "Are you ready for a wild weekend?" And I thought, what a bunch of dribble. That's not Stephen, who wrote some of the greatest songs of our time. I don't like it. I don't think there'll be an Infestation tribute. I don't think so. Uh, you say you don't fancy Reich, but know a lot of their songs. I don't fancy the band that's calling themselves Queensryche, No Music, No Life. I don't fancy anyone, but I know about Queensryche, the band that had Jeff Tate, Chris DeGarmo, and Scott Rockenfeld in it. That's Queensryche. This band that's going out there with two guys while the other three are alive is not Queensryche. This is a band, it's a nice tribute to Queensryche. All right. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Stephen still has a great voice. This is Doug. Hey, Jason, I'm the second time. I was born in 62. So as far as concerned, 70s one of great music. Well, thank you. I thought that comment was going to be more exciting, but 100% about QR, good, but boring. I don't get who'd pay them as a headliner. And he means Queensryche, not Quiet Riot. We don't want to get our QRs mixed up, or our P's and Q's for that matter. Johnny is amazing. By the way, Johnny has the link to today's show, and if he's able to, he would appear. Stephen has more hits than any of these bands. He should be headlining more. Stephen not only has more hits, Ratt has played more or headlined more arenas, released more albums, sold more albums than almost all of these bands. And I don't think anyone else, I don't think Queensryche has a round and round. And if they did, they wouldn't play it anyway. But I want you to know, a little inside, it was better to be in the spot we were in. It was a long day. That was the headlining spot. And Queensryche was the after party. And most people a lot of people were leaving. I don't care what anyone says. I was there. Stephen is Ratt. It should be the headliner. I like Johnny and Eric together. Well, they do make a good team. You were absolutely correct. Stephen should have been the headliner. His band are getting much deserved praise. You know what, though? I'll tell you something. Not everybody sees it that way. There's promoters or agents or whoever who don't get it. And Stephen should be playing every single weekend. And it's time to go overseas. Why is the Stephen Pearcy band not playing overseas? Well, some shit's going to change. We got to get that moving because you're seeing how good the band is. Something that I've known, something that Stephen knows. Let me have a drink. And we got to step it up. Did you watch Pretty Boy Floyd? Was there a lot of people watching? I wasn't there. I'll talk about that though in a minute. Dr. Paul Shortino is here. A lot of things he's saying I can't show, but someone believes he's really Sebastian Bach. Okay. Haven't all Ratt members sued each other? Name use publishing. I don't know so much about publishing, but yeah, a lot of them have sued each other. This is Doug Ross. Thank you, Doug. I'm sorry it took so long to get to this super chat, and I want to point out that this is the job for me doing YouTube, and as much as I love talking and entertaining everyone, these super chats make it possible to do. I got to clear my time. I got to take a shower to do this. I shave my balls. You know, there's things that go into this. Doug says, I want to shout out Teenage Head, Jason. Shitty summer for the people that love them. Guitar player got murdered. Rest in peace, brother. Wow, well, that is awful. I think that's Hamilton, Ontario, my hometown. So, well, definitely a shout out. He didn't give the name, but the band is Teenage Head. So sorry to hear that. But thank you for the super chat. That was like a Casey Kasem moment. I was so excited to talk about it, and thank you for your super chat. And then we go from an upbeat tempo number to a goddamn dog die. If you're a Howard Stern fan or a Casey Kasem fan, you know what I'm talking about. Stephen's band is an incredible moving machine. I agree. It was great with Coogan. It was great with Bloss. Hey, listen, no disrespect to Coogan in any way. He's a talented guy. He's a different person, different drummer. Bloss is a reason I chose Bloss. Stephen looks and sounds amazing. Mark Sanchez is going to the show in Wheatland, California. I believe that. Thank you, Mark, for the super chat. Mark's a longtime viewer and a great supporter of this show. I believe that's the show with Skid Row featuring Lizzie Hale. I'm sure that's going to be fantastic. This lineup is incredible. Blossom, Matt lock in, and Eric and Johnny sort the top with Sepp riding a wave all over it. That's right. And me behind them. No, whatever. Okay. Stephen sings, even though it's rare today. It's not as rare as you think. We'll talk more about. Some bands use recorded background vocals. A lot of bands we play with use a sweetened background vocal, if you will. That's okay. Nowadays, with technology, people are going to try it. Some of the bands, or some of the crews, are going to overuse it, and they're going to get caught. There are singers out there that aren't as good as they used to be, who I wish would use tracks. I'm telling you right now, some of my favorite singers should just lip sync. I'd rather see the band play with them lip syncing. There was a lot of comments on why didn't people do a better tribute to CJ Snare at M3. A lot of bands didn't know CJ personally, or it would be strange to stop their set to talk about another band that they're just not that accustomed to. Not everyone knew him. I knew him. I liked him a lot. I wasn't his best friend. I did run into Perry Richardson later that night, and we talked about it. And he said he still can't believe it. You just don't think it's going to happen. Life is short. Rather see Jake Ely and Eric Spot to complete the circle. They're going to it would be very cool. Wouldn't that be cool? I just don't think it's going to happen. I thought Chad was doing the higher parts are faster. Well, Chad sings, but some of those really high parts, if you watch, is Sam. But rumor in from Dr. Paul Shortino of Rough Cut. Matt Thorne's bass tracks are pre-recorded. Pass it on. There's a scoop. With all the gear that he brings, I promise you, it's live. Yeah, okay. It wasn't Toast in Town. It was on with the show. Whatever it was, he butchered it. And I can't comment on some of the things that you're saying. Em says she loves my Betty Boo shirt, which we mean Betty Boop. And this is actually Betty Boop. If Betty Boop was the bride, I can't go any higher because I'm not wearing any pants. But Betty Boop as the bride of Frankenstein, or Frankenstein, depending on your nationality. All right, let's see what we got here. Jake Lee does his own thing. Jake Lee doesn't do anything. Unless his own thing is going down to get custard, he ain't doing a damn thing. Thanks to shutting down the track at QZM through groupie. Well, but I'm the only person who can actually say, as far as Stephen's organization, I'm the only person who can tell you without a doubt, because I'm the only person who's there, that there's no tracks. It's also stupid. They said that they saw vocals coming out when Stephen moved the mic. It's completely stupid. And by the way, Stephen has flaws like every person. Stephen's voice is a hard voice to have after all these years. If he had tracks, he would sound even crazy. You believe it even more. I'm trying not to be negative. Okay, I'm going. This is a tough show. I mean, I could just sit here and talk, but I want to keep you guys involved. Johnny sings better than Donnie with more emotion. Big fan. Listen, I think Johnny's great. Sings better than Donnie. Who cares? I mean, Donnie's the guy. Johnny's a great guitar player, enough's enough, and he did a great impression of Donnie. I hope Johnny's not going to get offended, but Donnie V's the guy. We don't need any other enough's enough singers, especially a bass player. Chester worked for Vince for a few years, and he was in control of the backtracking. One of the tours was Voices of Metal, Vixen, Slaughter, and Steven. Yeah, that shouldn't be a surprise. Was Johnny Monaco wearing leather or pleather at M3? Based on the guy that I know, those pants would be pleather. Not just because of his strong animal beliefs, but because he's cheap. He can come in at any time, by the way. No, but he looked good. Listen, I pick on Johnny because Johnny's my friend. I obviously think Johnny is incredibly talented. And I think he shows it every day. And I'm glad that people get to see what I get to see. It makes me feel good. I'm a supporter. Um, well, Queensrÿche sucked last year. Is Steven in shape for travel, foreign tour that can be grueling? Yes. Yeah. Yes. He can sit on a plane. Yeah. Why not? You. It took us 10 hours to get home from Maryland. The current lineup is seriously on fire. Well, I agree. I don't want to shout it in a public place, though. We need a Stephen Live City 2024. Is there a chance? There's always a chance. Guy liner and shaved balls. That sounds like my middle name. No guy liner tonight. I was just couldn't get ready fast enough. That's why. Otherwise, you know me, I would wear it. Did Stephen bring Bear along to this? Is a very common question. No, dogs don't fly well. I don't like people who bring dogs on planes. I'm against it. Leave your dog at home. The dog doesn't want to go on the plane. If you really feel like you need to take a trip with the dog, it's time to drive. Those dogs get put underneath the plane. It's cold. They're scared. You're giving them sedative, whatever it is. Don't do it. Animals don't belong on planes. Cats, especially. People put these cats on. Leave your emotional support thing at home. You're an asshole if you bring a pet on a plane. And if you can leave your children at home, that's good too. Although I will point out on our flight home, there was a very nice family in front of us that had a baby and had another little one that we didn't even know was there. He was so quiet, just a good family, and they kept their kids in line. We were so scared that we sat behind them. Okay, but they were good. Anne Ravel, Anne, it was so great to see you as well. I want to meet everyone. Everyone who watches the show, I want to meet you. And I tried my best to get out. I walked up and down the damn steps at M3. I was on the lawn. I had people messaging me that they didn't get to meet me. I know that sounds like ridiculous, but people said they didn't get the chance. I'm glad that I came past your section, Anne, and Anne is beautiful and lovely and a very nice person and been supporting the channel for quite some time. So Anne, it was great to see you. Mr. Green, was the mask behind? Has it ever given you a fellatio? It has not yet, but maybe if Paul Rudd could put a spirit in it, uh, he might. Scott believes the blouse is a better fit. Scott helps us quite a bit out on the road when we're in his area. Okay, I'm trying here. Uh, Striper did a tribute. Yes, they did because Perry played in Firehouse, so they played. Striper performed All She Wrote. All She Wrote's a strange title when someone's dead, but that's the one that they know. I'm going to tell you about the night party I went to. I went to the after party. Oh my God, can you believe it? I'll tell you about it. Steven is one of the few singers from the day that still can. Solid backup band. Johnny is a brilliant player. Stays in his lane. Doesn't need to show off. Couldn't agree more. It's one of the reasons that Johnny is such a great fit. Uh, Night Ranger made me cry with their tribute to CJ. They played Goodbye. Okay. Let's see. Stupid, stupid. No. Dumb. No. A lot of bands really singing now, and the dude from Milli Vanilli sings now. Weird stuff. You need a Tasmanian Devil mug, Jason. Thank you, Bob. I do. If someone could find me the replica of the Christmas Vacation Tasmanian Devil mug, I would enjoy it. Are you going to the Stones this weekend, me and Johnny? I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to. I would like to. Great episode, and so happy to see Bloss join Steven and the band. I saw some recorded YouTube research. Yeah. Steven sells great voice better than a lot of the other people. Johnny is an incredible guitar player. That he is. Christy Majors, also known as Christy Crash Majors, was talking trash and showing picture preview before with no crowd in front of them all day. They went on at 12:30 for God's sake. Well, I don't get too involved in that. That's between them. Chris said when the lawsuit, Christy Crash Majors, is settled, he'll come on and talk about it. What's up with all the bitchy old people here tonight? I didn't know if I knew that. You were talking about me? Uh, didn't see Sepp use the brass knuckle. He doesn't use them anymore. The brass knuckles was part of the solo band. We're playing rap music now, and that's the end of that. How was your surgery? I didn't have any surgery. Well, I had skin cancer surgery, but this is a year ago or so, and it's so far so good. I mean, I'm still alive, and get make sure if you have anything skin things, go get checked out. Striper was really good. Striper's going to make a big announcement soon. I know what the announcement is. I can't say it, but they'll talk about it. Los Elias kicks ass in Sep. I never liked calling him Sep. I thought it was stupid. The guy's name is Steven. But then I learned that his middle name was Eric, and Stephen Eric Pearcy. Some people call him Sep. I'm not on that relationship with him. That music sounds awesome. We just need to get Johnny to move and replace Eric. This is from Larry, and this is my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl. Well, I don't know about replacing Eric, but unless you're talking about the sides of the stage, I don't know. But Johnny is playing the Warren parts. I don't know what else to say about that. Christy is a classic keyboard warrior. At least Steve is out doing something. Christy just plays PS5 games. Look, you can say what you want, but there's a lot of allegations that Christy is selling, that Steve Sex Summers is selling forgeries, selling bootleg memorabilia, selling guitars that he claimed belonged to Chris. Keyboard warrior or not, I would be mad too. I don't know. It's not my case. They can both come on here and we'll settle it the old fashioned way. If we're having issues with Golden Robot, is Steven still doing a project with them? You can think for yourself. Stephen Pearcy Band is for all ages. Blah, 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 blah. Sean Brown. Matt Thorne is not only a great musician, but more importantly, a very humble and down to earth person. As a bass player, very much enjoyed seeing him on Waste Sometimes. Great. Matt is great. With Matt and Bloss in the band, when you're traveling, they can lull you to sleep. When we're in a vehicle or wherever backstage, everyone is quiet, you know. Other than Johnny complaining about his bed, no one really says anything. And I'm being funny because even Johnny is pretty quiet. Johnny puts in his AirPods or earbuds and he's quiet. And Steven's usually doing his own thing if he's even with us. Bloss is an angel, fly after the angel. And Eric is usually doing his own thing, is pretty quiet too. In fact, most people, Bloss added new energy. Hope Johnny catches it. I don't know if it's infectious. Um, John Doe. Johnny really seems to have his guitar tone dialed in. He's putting his own cool spin in the soul's way. He's working very hard. Johnny doesn't like your compliments. He believes that he can get better. Not a bad thing to do. Hey now, Jason's here. I got to say this, and I never wanted to be the idiot to do this, but there is a bootleg Waste Some Time with Jason Green web store. It's bots and all that shit, but there is a place you can my logo on shirts. I don't buy it, not only because it doesn't support me, but because you probably won't get the items. And they made this really cool Christmas logo that my friend Lee Bishop created. Uh, it's a Christmas wreath with my face in it with a Santa hat. I don't know why they chose to put that out in May, but don't support it. There's merchandise coming. I can only do so much, but it's coming. Congratulations on acquiring the new drummer, Jason. You're good at what you do. He's fired. Well, thank you, Southern Drummer. Jason pointing out that Matt is double platinum in Burbank. Huge, huge. Uh, Half the seats were full for Pretty Boy 12:30, and they were on their feet. It was impressive. Well, Christopher was there, and he knows. And I wasn't doubting it. I'm saying those guys have personal issues, but I think Pretty Boy Floyd is fun. I think those songs are fun. I think they're a good glam band, and they went on early. Steve Sex Summer spent his entire day at the merch stand. One, because he needed some money, but two, because he wanted to meet and greet or so. Jason, I know of an ice cream shop near the Akata Theater in St. Charles that has sugar-free ice cream. Well, let's go. We can have an ice cream date, whoever you are. And yes, the best-selling Burbank funk instrumental album of all time. Will there be any scooters? Not for me. There won't. Never again. Playing Warren's parts, he's got a pro skills. I think that's a compliment. Who cares what time these bands go on? Thankfully, so I'm well, but there should be some respect shown to their elders. Johnny's quiet until he drives, or until he rides passenger in somebody else's vehicle, and then believes that he is the superior driver, uh, or drink or drinking driver. Uh, what what gig in the past of the next tour diary from? Not sure. I mean, we're in like December on tour diaries. You're going to get a tour diary from every single show. It take me a long time to catch up. Jason, when you come to Ohio, do you want to do some ghost hunting on Lab's Place? It's a possibility. I don't know much about Ohio. I do know that I have plans that Jason and I are going to go on a top secret mission, but I might stay a little longer and we can see. Uh, Love the clip you had on Instagram and blogs today. Super cool. Well, there's going to be a lot more of those type of clips. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please do. JSIN_green. I got to tell you the story. Yes, it's the Christmas logo on Facebook, so don't order it. And again, it's not that if you got the shirt and you wore it, I don't care about the money. But are there any free boobs at the concerts anymore? It's very rare. Very rare. I wish there were more. We should bring that back. The problem is a lot of the young women who come to the show are not over the age of 18 and probably shouldn't be showing their innocent racks. I went to the after party, and I'll tell you about the after party in just a second. Wait, Sean Clark is here. What a longest day! He's been up for 28 hours. Sean Clark's on the show quite a bit. He has a show called Horror's Hollowed Grounds, and he also he's a musician. He has a convention. You know Malfunction by now on YouTube. But he was so nice. He messaged me yesterday from Japan, and he found these Ratt Japanese tour books, original tour books that I really wanted for my collection. And Sean was nice enough to offer to pick them up. He's a cool guy and respects a fellow collector, obviously. Anyway, I'm looking forward to having Sean back on. I'd like to have a lot of people. Everyone's excited to see Sean. I'd like to see Sean back on the show and with Wednesday as well. I think we all make a good team, and we certainly enjoy each other's company. And the Hollywood Collectors show that Sean Wednesday and I am going to go to, and they don't pay me, although they should, added the Fall Guy reunion and the Bionic Man and Woman reunion. At this point, how cautious are you to enter a Starbucks with Johnny? Yeah, I feel like they might have his picture up, but he loves Starbucks. I I could take it or leave it. Thank you, new channel member Tina B. Tinacha 78 718. Maybe you're from Brooklyn or Staten Island. Okay. What's your opinion of the New York band Spread Eagle? I don't have that much of an opinion. I saw them when I lived in New York, and I think I knew some people who played with them time to time. I think they're okay. I have to listen to it again. Okay, I got to get through these so I can tell you about the party that you guys want to hear about so damn bad. Can Sean come on tonight? I'm kind of wrapping up. I mean, he just got home from a 28-hour flight. We'll have him on soon. Sean Kiss Me's a fan view is incredible. I know, and as Sean says that uh, he'll go with me to Six Flags Magic Mountain so I can see. Sean, I'm going to text you when you're rested. I'm going to come out to California, and maybe you and I can do some sightseeing out your way. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, after party. So we get back to the hotel. It's very late. We stayed through Queensryche's set. We stayed awake during Queensryche's set, more importantly. We went and we meted and we greeted, and people were just kissing the ring, proverbial ring of Bloss. They loved him. They honored to meet him. And on the ride back to the hotel, we couldn't help but pick on Bloss a little bit. He was also the hunk of the month, and I just get these things in my head, and it's just so funny to me that I started telling everyone that he was the hunk of the month. Yeah, Sean is toast, as he says, and we'll do it soon. There'll be a lot of new content with Sean and I. But yes, 28 hours from Japan is brutal. I'm bitching about my day coming home from Baltimore. Uh, this Ricky Rackman, I did see it. Ricky Rackman and I talked the other day for a while about setting some stuff up with him. So, but it's his business to say, not mine. I haven't asked Matt how many unread messages he has in a little while, but I will do it. Okay, so we get back to the hotel, and I've had some friends who told me that the after party is in the Lake House Hotel and that I should be there. And I know Steven's not going, and then I knew Matt wasn't going, and Johnny, he was tired, and he didn't go. I was a little surprised, but he didn't go. So I was like, well, I'm going to go by myself, and I have a friend there, my friend Whitney, who I've known. I met her around M3, and I remember in 2014 we were at M3 together when I was working with Winger, and it was very funny. All these stories, I'm not even sure which ones I can tell, but anyway, another friend of mine, Brent Woods of Wildside, it's the band, and Sebastian Bach. And he asked me if I can put her on the list. I said, "Well, I know her." Anyway, she was instigating that there was such a big party going on, but everybody was scared to go out. Blas, I knew wasn't going to the party. Maybe he would have said hello if it was more convenient, but it was late. We had an early flight. So I texted Eric Ferentinos and I said, Eric, what do you think? You want to come to this thing? I'm going. And he said, I'll be right down. And I was impressed. I said, there we go. And then I said, me and Eric are going to jail tonight. And I want to point out that Eric usually stays in his room. He's a mild mannered guy. People ask why Eric's not on the show. Well, you'll see him on the show because him and I went to the lake house and we tore up the town. We were partying. Um, Maybe not. First person I saw was Perry Richardson. Had a great talk with him. My condolences for his friend CJ. Then I ran into the great Oz Fox, also Striper. One of my closer people in my life that I've known, been there for me for so many things. When my late girlfriend passed away, sorry to bring up a serious note, Oz played at her funeral. A good guy, a good guy. I'll tell you that. And they're hard to find. People like Oz. So and then I ran into Lisa Sweet, Michael Sweet's wife, who is another. She's a very sweet woman, if you get the joke. And she's great though, and it was nice to see her. I haven't seen her in a while, and didn't see Michael. He's probably resting, and I didn't see Robert, but he doesn't go out to those sort of things. I went to the party. They had like a karaoke thing, and it was in the dark though. It was like a stage. I thought it was a band, and it was fun. And DJ Will was there. If you know DJ Will, he's really cool, Hollywood DJ type guy, and he's on all the cruises. And I don't know. I don't think he was picking the music, but maybe he was. He was around. Johnny Kelly was there from Type O Negative. Quiet Riot played on my album. Got to hang out with him. And then Jesus, question. Has Perry Richardson been on your show? Yes, he has, and it's a great interview, and I recommend you check it out. He talks a lot about how him and CJ Snare met, and at this time, it's very interesting. Sean picked up a Striper 1987 Japan tour book and an Ultimate Sin tour book. Ozzy, that's awesome. Well, Sean represents Ozzy for convention appearances, so you're definitely going to get that signed. And when Striper plays in your area, Sean, you and I will go. Wait, here's Jeff C., who was at the party. Meeting you and Eric at the after party made my night. It was great to end my 3 consecutive nights of Pearcy. Well, thank you, Jeff. I'm glad you got to meet us. Me and Eric is a rare duo. Now we're going to start tearing up the town, start sea glass hunting, and see what kind of trouble we can get into. But 400 people watching, by the way, for the last hour and 40 minutes. Just want to brag a little bit. So we were having a nice time at the party. I don't drink the devil's alcohol, but it was still nice to be there. Nice all the people offered. And look, I guess I keep saying, so nice to everyone who came over and told me their personal stories about having a serious surgery or losing a loved one, and watching my show and being comforted by it. It's funny. I mean, this is supposed to be all silly bullshit, but yet there's people who like a nice little silly laugh and like a little bullshit, and that makes me feel good. So thank you. And if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have this platform, and I wouldn't be able to pay the how do you say bills. I did not check out the bridge that collapsed. I mean, I think I did. Who else did we see at that? Oh, I ran into Eric Griffin. Eric Griffin was in a band called the Murder Dolls that Wednesday 13 he was the singer and songwriter with Joey Jordison of Slipknot. And it was nice to meet Eric. I met him before when he was working for Night Ranger. He does monitors for them. But this time we got to talk a little bit about some Murder Dolls and some differences that maybe he and Wednesday had. Who knows? Maybe one day Eric could come on the show. I don't know. He seemed to be okay with it. But it was nice to talk to him. And I didn't really know him. I wasn't really a Murder Dolls fan until I became friends with Wednesday. I'm a Wednesday fan before I'm a Murder Dolls fan. Chris saying I'm awesome, which is very, very kind. So anyway, we had a fun night at the party. I can't think if there was other people there, but it was so great to see everybody. And I like the camaraderie that this community has. It's a lot of C words. Not my favorite C word, but a lot of C words. And I look forward to seeing everyone more. I wish we were at this Monsters on the Mountain. I wish we were there. Maybe one of those guys should send me some press credentials or something, and I'll cover it, and I'll go for myself. I liked it there. So anyway, the cruise next year. Cruise is going to be amazing. If you're not going on that cruise, and they don't pay me either, but they should, it's going to be a really good lineup. And I know some of the bands that they're going to announce. There's more to come. I met you and Stephen at the Four Winds Casino in New Buffalo, Michigan. You guys are good people. Well, thank you. We try our best. I always enjoy being able to spend some time with everyone on here. When I love that too, we've got our own little community. You have to go to Australia for the C word. Rocktember in September. That I'll be at. Yeah. And I look forward to seeing all of you guys. Let's keep this going. I'm going to tell you something that you don't want to hear. Life isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Sorry, that's Rocky Balboa. No, you're not going to see these bands forever. People complain, the lineup's not good. Who's left? We're running out of these bands. And if you don't see them now, you won't see them. So make friends, enjoy yourself. I'm so glad that there's more younger people who are turning up. I can't believe how cool that is. Does Matt Thorne also live in Vegas, or is he an LA guy? Well, you might be new to the show. He is from Burbank, California, where he is currently #1 instrumental funk progressive bass album. And he also has the multi-platinum NFC. This is new technology. It comes as a keychain. And you hold it up to your phone, and I have a little trouble with it. It usually opens easily, but it's you can order it, and that has a website. Anyway, well, it's you want to try it out. All right, boy. I met Steve Sex Summers at the Creatures Fest in Nashville a couple years ago. Accessible to have conversations, take pictures with. Well, yeah, it's good to hear. Sean says, I've heard about this funk album. What's it called again? I usually need to have a copy to read the name. I accidentally dreamt it, but I do have the mini disc, and I think it has the name on it. No. Oh, yeah. Back the Funk Up. Check it out. He also co-wrote the song Back for More, so he's got a thing for backs. Baby Got Back. He had nothing to do with. Is this a record crowd? I don't know. This could be a compact disc crowd. It's definitely not a streaming crowd. There's been a lot of people here tonight, and there's a lot of people who are watching because they found out through the M3 event. Pebbles hasn't been on in a while, and I appreciate all of you. Yeah. Have you picked a B side for the vinyl single "I Vote If Mary Won"? I love that song. Well, thank you, Mark. I'm not sure it's going to be that one, but I'm glad you brought it up. So I'm going to put out a CD of songs that I wrote. The title of the album is tentatively titled "I Write the Songs That Make the Whole World Sick." And it's going to be 12 to 13 songs that I either wrote or co-wrote. Some I played on, some I didn't. Some are completely unreleased, never before heard. And I'm going to put it out. And I have the original engineer putting that together as we speak. Right now, he's in there with the elves making the product. Maybe we'd have an NFC. But so that's going to come out soon. You'll hear music from Sin City Sinners, Sin City Rejects. You'll hear my Christmas song. And it's going to be extremely limited. We'll make some of them, and hopefully they don't rip me off and sell it on a different site as well. But that's that. Did you get to do Texas Chainsaw when you came to Texas? No. Wednesday and I are going to go, maybe in June, and but we are going to do it. I'd love for Sean Clark to go too, but to get the three of us together is virtually impossible. And if any of you are part of the vinyl crowd, please feel free to check out RLS Records catalog of vinyl and CDs. That's true, and it's not just Tough. You might not like Tough, although I don't know how you couldn't. I'm going to do my best to go see Tough at the Whiskey. So if I can do it, you can do it. But anyway, RLS Records, Tough CDs, Metal Sludge. Stevie Rochelle's got some cool stuff for you. So check it out. He's a loyal guy. I'll tell you something nice about Stevie Rochelle. Um, when I was starting the show, I always felt I could do this. I went to school for journalism and media interviewing a long time ago. And but I auditioned for MTV and VH1 and shit, but I didn't have the look they were looking for. But I knew I could do what I did, and now I was able to do it on my own. But when the show started, it really was only successful because some of my friends who were kind of famous uh, um, came on, did interviews. When I had nobody, Joe Esposito, my buddy, saying "You're the best around," came on. I didn't even have a show. The first guest. Um, Oz Fox, Simon Wright, Johnny Kelly. These are some of the really earlier ones. Carlos Cavazzo. My channel is monetized because of Carlos Cavazzo interview. So I'm so thankful. But Stevie Rochelle got a hold of me. We knew each other very little, you know. And we talked, and he told me that he believed in what I was doing, and that he said it's going to grow, just like Metal Sludge. Eventually, it's going to be the place for people to go. And he was giving me really good advice, and he was really supportive. And he continues to be supportive of this channel, and I'm happy to promote the things that he has going on as well because I think it fits this community. Stevie is passionate about this business. He knows a lot more than people would think. You think, oh, he was in Tough. I said, no one with a smaller band. No offense to Tough, but obviously they weren't Motley Crue. They play live. Um, would be it has done more. Stevie keeps that brand going, and it's great. It's great that he still does it and branched out to things. So anyway, I'm not kissing his ass, uh, um, but it's the truth. Stevie was very loyal and very supportive and pushing me. It takes a lot to get your show heard. You have to. You have to. You need people to share articles, to share links. I don't like to beg people to do it, and Stevie's been good to me. So anyway, that's what I say about that. Let's see. Did anyone else notice Stephen laughing at Sweet Child of Mine at the end of Sin and Crime? Johnny has been doing this for a while. At the end of Sin and Crime, he plays a little bit of Sweet Child of Mine. It's very similar. Maybe they borrowed something. A lot of bands borrowed from Rat, and Stevens laughed. Better than getting angry. I told him that he does it. I said, "Have you noticed?" And then that night he heard it, and I think he enjoyed it. There's a song called "You Got It" off the EP, and LA Guns ripped that off for a song called, I think, "Sex Action." It's completely stolen. And the beginning of Wanted Man, I wouldn't say it's stolen, but the intro to Wanted Man is also Bad Medicine. Listen carefully to the intro, and you will notice it's Bad Medicine. So, nope, coffee enthusiast has had enough. Well, I appreciate you for watching, and you're a channel member. Stevie is one of the nicest and hardest working guys in the scene. I would have to agree. You're a good dude, Jason, and easy to root for. Love your show and tours. Well, thank you. I don't know. Not everybody might have always thought that way, but I think that I'm an honest person. I think that I try my best to entertain, to distract, and with that said, I'm glad that you folks, you people, would sound wrong, that you enjoy it. Anyway, there's so many of you. I would like to mention that I have a Patreon, and you can join it. And tonight, I'm going to upload new content to that Patreon. I was trying to figure out what can I offer patrons that will entertain them. Well, when you sign up at any level, you get these here uh, guitar picks, right? One from Waste Some Time, one from my band, and then you get these pictures. Oh, which I have one right there. And anyway, I send that to you. I don't make any money on that, trust me. And then, but anyway, so some of the clips from Tortars, I'm gonna upload for patrons first. So please, blah blah blah. Links in the description. Nobody Rides for Free is my best Rat song. I hope this isn't the guy who wrote it. Nobody Rides for Free was like almost a countryish song that was picked up for the Point Break soundtrack. There wasn't even really a Rat on that song. They were on the way out. That was the last. I consider it to be the last real Rat song and video. Lorraine says, not to start another whole topic, but I've always wondered how music writers know that what they are writing is original and not something they heard elsewhere. Well, they don't. I wrote a song with somebody who stole the song. Says they didn't realize it. They stole it completely. We had to go back and re-record the music because it was another song. It was such a close similarities that if you Shazammed it, you would recognize it as the other song. Anyway, there's only so many chords, so there's only so many chords. So, Jennifer Lee got her pictures last week. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed them. Brian says your picks are good quality. Hate to admit I play guitar with some of them. Oh, that's all right. I mean, they're also collectibles, but they are good quality picks. They're made by Intune guitar picks. So, and yeah, they're good picks. And I do play with them as well. And maybe I'll be playing some music again soon. We're working on some stuff. Wish I could contribute. Well, hold on. Any new music with Stephen? Not yet. Wish I could contribute more to the fund than just be a member. It's okay. Being a channel member is appreciated. Not everyone has money. There was times when I didn't know how I was going to pay the rent in my life. You know what I mean? There's a lot of those. And so I'm not looking to shake anybody down. If you can afford it, awesome. I'm happy to be here, wasting some time with you. Sharon says an album, she'd like to get the album. Well, it's going to make 100 of them or so. We'll sign them, we'll number them. And then you guys will get to hear some of the other things that I do. And I hope that you'll enjoy them. Mike Crawford, I got my picks through Intune also. Well, nice. Yeah, they're a good company. I try to recommend them as much as I can. Next stop for Stephen Pearcy is Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm going to Michelle's graduation. She's going to take she's going to be a Juris Doctor. I think that's what they call it. She's going to have a doctorate. She's going to be graduating from law school. Lawyers are not, they don't call themselves doctors. They should be able to. They call themselves Esquire. It doesn't have the same ring to it. You got a doctorate. So I'm going to call her Dr. Michelle regardless, especially if she checks my prostate. That's a joke. Anyway, but she's a doctor, damn it. And I'm so proud of her. And there she is celebrating. She took a test today. She's almost done, but I'm excited. So what I'm going to do, for those who are wondering, is I'm going to go to graduation and I'm going to leave immediately after. And I'm going to get on a plane to Tulsa, Oklahoma, so I could be there as well. So I'll be a lot of places in one day. And yes, definite congratulations to Michelle, who 100% deserves it. Dr. Michelle, excuse me. May I suggest a tour diary of her graduation so we can celebrate with her? Well, Jason, it's funny you say that. I've been thinking about it too. It's up to Michelle. But because I may fly in the morning of her graduation and then fly out as soon as it's over to go to Tulsa, I think it's all part of the show. But Michelle is sort of okay being a public figure. People are starting to recognize her. Thank you for all the congratulations. She deserves it. She's the smartest person I know. So maybe I'll show you how ridiculous my life is. My Life on the Road, the name of the show, is there because uh, I'm showing you what my life on the road is like. And obviously, that's all a big part of my life. Okay, I'm just checking a couple of things. Okay, I got that. I'm going to wrap this up in 5 minutes. And Michelle thanks you for her, for your compliment, your whatever, your congratulations. M3, Winger usually attend. Well, they should have been there. A great band, but maybe they had them too many times, or maybe they were busy. And all right, last chance. This is it. We have 5 minutes. I will accept cash donations, prizes, warm regards, thank yous, nudes, whatever it is you got. You got 5 minutes to send it. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Way better than the Queensryche show. Yeah, well, I agree. I try to stick to the hits. Um, let's see. I ran out of steam. There's two ways I could go about doing the show. By the way, at 2 hours, the camera usually freezes. If that happens, then that's it. But there's two ways I could do the show. I could just talk and then later let other people don't do what I do. They don't just talk to everybody unless they super chat. They don't take their questions. I don't really feel like that's cool. I want you all to be involved. I also need to get some dinner. Uh, uh, okay. Well, thank you, Chris. It's much appreciated. Great show as usual. I'll be back this week a few times. Wednesday 13 will be here. I think on Wednesday. I think. I haven't really spoke to him yet. What's your what's your favorite Rat song, Jason? It goes back and forth all the time. I really like "You Should Know by Now." I like "Looking for Love." It's just a ton. They're not the hits usually though. Of the hits, I like "Lay It Down" probably the best. Scott says, "Have a great night." Oh man, I want to show something. Hey, would you guys indulge me for 1 second while I take myself off? Okay. So I can't end the show without thanking Grace, my buddy Grace, who might be watching right now. She is. Grace, I want to thank you for this. Grace came to M3 and she drew this for me. This is an original drawing. It almost ended up like Matt's NFC of my favorite bassist, songwriter, Dee Dee Ramone. And I think it's pretty damn good. When people give you artwork, you sometimes panic that it's going to be terrible, and you have to tell them that it's good. But that is good, and it's going to be displayed. Grace, next time draw me though. But try to be kind. You know what I mean? But Grace is awesome and a very talented young person. So there. I'm glad I got that in because tomorrow I would have forgotten. Well, I won't forget. It'll be hanging on my wall. I'm glad you guys like to see that. Wanted to share it. Go back and watch this if you missed it. Are we going live tomorrow? Maybe. I plan on doing a lot more. People are leaving because they know that this is almost over. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Well, links are in the description. Check out my Patreon, become a channel member, like, comment, subscribe, talk all you like. What usually happens is when the show ends, all the keyboard warriors come out and talk a bunch of shit, and it's usually stupid. But sometimes people have say nice things too. I'm gonna go put my Vivian Campbell autographed Funko Pop. I would prefer to Dio than Def Leppard, but whatever. Pop. And that's it. You guys seem like you've had enough. A lot of us are rooting for the New York Knickerbockers. I'm a fan of the Knicks as well. Knicks, Yankees, Rangers, Giants. That's from me to you. Did we have a good time? I think we did. Thank you, Sharon. All right, guys. Check your local listings. I'll be back probably a few times this week. And I got some new co hosts. Heather Leather. I don't know if you guys know Heather Leather, but she's going to be here soon, too. Just talked to her today. All right. I got to get out of here. I got to go act busy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again